Call the meeting to order for the Village of Round Lake Beach, our board meeting for Monday, July 28th, 2014. Please call the roll.
Trustee Husk.
Here.
Trustee Valdez. Here. Trustee Smith.
Here.
Trustee Butler.
Here.
Trustee Mount.
Here.
Trustee Mattingly.
Here.
Mayor Hill.
Here, let the record show a quorum is present. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Valdez, second by trustee Mount. Any additions, deletions, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved as written. We have the council meeting minutes from July 14, 2014. Any corrections or clarifications? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved?
Motion by trustee Butler, second by trustee Smith. Once again, any questions, corrections, clarifications? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, those minutes are approved. We have no expenditures to approve tonight. We have no ratifications. We'll move directly on our committee reports. Trustee Mount?
Well, thank you, Mayor. I do have a SWACO report tonight. We have a lot of events going on this summer, and so we want to make sure that everybody knows about all of our collections. Household chemical waste collections, public drop-offs at our Estes Street facility in Gurnee. And we've got them 3 times during the month of August by appointment. So just go to swaco.org. You can make an appointment there. It's August 9th, August 16th, and August 25th. Electronic collections at Round Lake Beach Public Works, 24/7. Pallets are available for your drop-offs. We're getting a bunch of stuff up there that I've been told that I've got to make it known. We cannot accept air conditioners or smoke and fire detectors. Those have either Freon or mercury or batteries in it that aren't acceptable. And so, we're, just because it has electrical cord doesn't mean necessarily that we can accept everything all the time. If you're in doubt, go to swaco.org. We have a list of items that you cannot bring or that you can bring for electronic
Does that
collection.
also include like your fluorescent lights, those,
Some of the bulbs we can take, some of them we can't. There is a facility, now if you get them to Estes Street, we actually have a collection in Ingleside who takes the fluorescent bulbs, and another one in Highland Park. So there's a couple of places.
I've had a couple people ask me about that.
Looking at the website, you'll find all that information. Okay, thanks. Textile collection bins are also located at Round Lake Beach Public Works. And one of the interesting things I found out this month was 95% of everything that's collected is going to be repurposed or recycled. So that's really nice. There's not a lot of waste of all these things that we're getting rid of, all the old clothing and things. And so the people that are using them, it provides jobs, and so it is being repurposed. Pharmaceutical and medical medication disposal, sharp needles disposal bins are all located at the Round Lake Beach Police Department. And those are, I believe those are available just during normal business hours. Isn't that true, Chief? Yes. Okay, so as long as that front door is open, you can get to them. They want to be careful about what you put in that sharp items bin, because it can only be needles and things like that for pharmaceuticals. For all your solid waste needs, go to swaco.org, and remember, recycle first, trash last. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Mount.
Thank you.
Any other trustees have any announcements tonight?
One more, Mayor. Just wanted to remind everyone that September 6th and 7th, we are going to be the host area for the music festival fundraiser for autism at the center right across the way. We're going to have 40 bands over a 2-day period. It's going to be really exciting. It's a extremely worthwhile cause. So please, everybody, mark September 6th and 7th and come out and just spend all 24 hours with us and get to see all 40 bands. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Mattingly. Any other trustees have any announcements? No? Okay. Move on to mayor's report. Tonight we have the swearing in of patrol officers. So turn over to Chief Hare.
Mayor, trustees, thank you. We do have two new officers to swear in tonight. I'd like to introduce them to the board. We'll go one at a time. Marcion started September 1st with us, if you'll step up. Come on, you're gonna come too. I'm bringing the families up with this time so that I won't make the same mistake I made the last time. This is Marcion Butur. He moved to the United States in 2002 from Romania and graduated from Mundelein High School in 2005. Marcion continued his studies at Loyola University in Chicago, graduating in 2012 with a bachelor's degree. Marcion is a proudly serving member of the United States Marine Corps Reserves and has been since 2009, holding the rank of corporal. Throughout high school and college, Marcion worked for Sprint in many different roles, from store representative to territory manager. He is married to Victoria, who is his biggest supporter, and with them today is their daughter, Chloe. Chloe was born January 1st. Marcion was on duty and scrambled out of here to go home to be there when his baby was born. He attended the police academy at PTI in Champaign, and he's also just gotten through the challenging FTO program. He's on the afternoon shift. Marcion always had a desire to be a police officer. Until 2012, he wasn't able to act on that because he wasn't a U.S. citizen. He received his citizenship, and in late December, he took his first police officer test. And then in July of 2013, he received a call back from us and was hired September 1st. So his wife would like to pin on the badge. And Marcion, step up and be sworn in.
I, Marcion Butur, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Congratulations, welcome.
Yeah, there you go.
Next, we have Tim Gannon. His wife, Carrie Ann. Do you two want to come up also? Riley and Addison. She's blushing a little bit. Tim was born and raised on the north side of Chicago to Patrick and Faith Gannon. He attended Catholic school until his sophomore year, and he transferred to Maine East and later graduated in 1998. He started college at Columbia College in Chicago and transferred to Oakton Community College after a year to finish his general studies. Tim worked in real estate for 4 years and on the Chicago Board Options Exchange for 6, and then in retail banking for almost 7 years. He began testing for law enforcement, but only with agencies that he had interacted with through his previous career. He has relationships in Round Lake Beach as he was out here working in GNR Realty. And also he volunteered with HACP, which is Hook, Aim, Cross, and Punch. It's a boxing program here in Round Lake Beach. And that is what led him to our agency to test with us. Tim married his wife, Carrie Ann, in March of 2009, and together they have the 2 children you see here, Addison, who is 7 and will be in the 2nd grade. Am I right? And Riley, who is 6 and will be starting 1st grade this year. They live in Berkeley. Tim attended the police academy at the College of DuPage. He was kind of our first test run there, and he had a great experience, and it's a great academy, and we'll be sending more there based on his experience. He's currently in the FTO program, and we'll have him on his own here in a couple of months. He's doing a wonderful job, I'm told. but don't let him know that just yet. Still want him to push, so.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Tim Gannon,
I, Tim Gannon,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of police officer
the duties of the office of police officer
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
It's always nice to welcome new officers to our community. Gentlemen, thank you for testing for Round Lake Beach. And I'm sure you'll make great officers out there in the field, and our residents will appreciate it also. Okay, the Round Lake area Queens unfortunately have to reschedule, so they will be here sometime in August. Is there a clerk's report tonight?
No report tonight, thank you.
Okay, we move on to our items of business then. We have item A, which is a resolution approving an interagency agreement with the Illinois Department of Revenue. We're receiving a tobacco enforcement grant for the police department. I think it's $1,870. We just have to sign the documents in order to get that grant so we can do testing of our retail shops to make sure they're not selling cigarettes to kids. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Mayor.
Motion by trustee Mattingly,
Second.
second by trustee Valdez. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Valdez.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
That's approved 6-0. Item B is the Illinois Department of Transportation Obligation Retirement Resolution, Series 2009 bonds. We need to pass a bond each year in order to use the motor or fuel tax funds to pay for the bonds we use to repair the roads. We did a big bond issue, so we can do some roads in advance. Rather than doing them a little bit each year, we could do a lot more with the bond issuance we did. But we have to pass this out on an annual basis. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by trustee Smith, second by trustee Husk. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount. Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez.
Aye.
That's approved 6-0. And item C is a resolution authorizing a lease agreement with Konica Minolta for a multifunction copier. The copier over the center is this very basic one. They do a lot of different items over there, promotions and so forth. They need a full-feature copier so that they can complete the business they do without having to run over to the village hall here or take it out to an outside source. So we'll be getting that to replace the old copier. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
trustee Smith, second by trustee Butler. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
That's approved 6-0. And item D is a resolution approving the appropriation of funds for the purchase of computer equipment from SHI International. This is for the 5 Panasonic Toughbooks for the squad cars, an amount not to exceed $29,564. We've already got the squad cars, everything else we paid for the installation of all the other equipment. And now we just need to equip them with the computer system so that they should be ready to go then after that at that point. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Valdez,
Second.
second by trustee Husk. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez. Trustee Smith. Trustee Butler.
Aye.
That's approved 6-0. Item E is an ordinance approving a variance for from the requirements of the village code relative to grease traps at 2195 North Route 83. That's Ron's Italian Ovens. They're going to be expanding into the facility next door to them. You'll be making some seating area for some customers. Our ordinance is designed mostly for new businesses as they build from the ground up, so they can put it in one of those great big grease traps underground. When you already have a facility, it's very difficult to do that. So we do have a variance procedure. All the testing shows that he will be able to use the smaller grease trap without a problem, provided it's emptied according to schedule, just like the big grease traps have to be emptied according to schedule. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by trustee Butler, second by trustee Mount. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount.
That's also approved 6-0. That's all it is of business we had on our agenda tonight. Thank you for being here, and look forward to you expanding and having a pizza or something over there. It is now time for public participation. Anyone has a question or comment for the board, please come to the microphone, give your name and address for the record. Either state your comment or ask your question.
Bill Kowalski, 2602 North Orchard. So I'm trying to be more of a glass half full kind of guy these days. So I want to just preface things by saying I think there's some good things happening, it seems like, in the village, and some good things in the offing, whether it's the completion of the intersection or the prospect of new business coming, and that sounds very good, and I'm sure reflects some very good and hard work by a lot of people here. Having said that, and you've heard me ask and talk about Orchard Lane before, I'm going to be honest and say it's getting harder all the time to justify staying in a place where increasingly it looks like, I'm not saying it's the case, but it looks like the area isn't cared for. So I do want to ask again, what plans do we have? And I'm talking not just about the state of the road itself, which we put a couple of Band-Aids on last year and that was helpful, but it still needs much more than a couple of Band-Aids. So I'm talking about the state of the road. I'm also talking about, you know, I was just driving around and looking at it the other day and thinking how much sand and sort of small gravel is along the side of the road. That hasn't been picked up in a couple of years, a couple of winters, I'm sure. It didn't used to be like that. And weeds coming up along the side of the road. And so I'm just wondering what we can do about that and what we might be intending to do about that, because it's increasingly frustrating.
A couple things. I know we've worked with the Council of Mayors to get Orchard onto the federal highway list so we can get funding through the federal government to help for that road. As far as the street sweeping, I thought that was being done on a regular basis right now, and on any place that has curbs, and that has curbs over there, so it should have been being swept. Gary, do you have any comments on that?
Yes, it should. It's on the schedule to be swept. I'll have to investigate.
Can you find out and make sure that maybe the company's not kind of zigzagging around and not getting the job done properly? Find out when the last time there was that they were down Orchard then, because I haven't noticed that myself, but if you live right there, you would notice it more than I would. And the weeds, that's a problem when they start coming up. Usually homeowners maintain the area right in front of their house like that. If they're not, I'm not sure if there's funds available for us to do weed prevention, or weed spray some kind of application along there to kill the weeds. Because not only does it look bad, but it also will start pushing everything apart. It's amazing the power of a plant as it grows. So something we can look at then. Okay. And we appreciate you staying on top of this.
Can I ask as a follow-up?
Oh, please.
With what was noted as the effort on the road, whatever that entails, what does that mean as a practical matter over the next year?
It's
what-
hard to say. The Council of Mayors gets money from the government, the federal government every year. It's distributed based on the different projects that are out there. They prioritize them annually. I can't tell you off the top of my head. I know it won't be next year, I can tell you that much, as far as resurfacing the whole road. That's gonna be a couple years down the road. With Myers coming in, we'll have some funding coming in at that point.
Okay.
If I had the money sitting there, we'd do it right away.
All right.
Could I just add, the board, about a year or so ago, passed a revolving funding plan for a capital project program for the entire municipality. I'd be more than happy to sit down with you, go over the whole plan, the funding sources, when roads are projected to be done, if the funding comes in as planned. More than happy to sit down with you, go through the whole plan. It's a nice plan. We presented it during the budget process, and it actually takes us each year, not only for the roads, but the infrastructure underneath the roads, which would be the sanitary sewer, the water mains, storm sewer improvements, I can walk you through the whole thing. It'll give you a good idea of, you know, when we're anticipating to get to each of the streets. It incorporates the entire community. And then it might answer some of your questions. It might raise some more questions for you, but at least it'll show you what we plan on doing.
So I appreciate that, and Dave, you and others have always been very good about a willingness to do that, and I appreciate that. Best case scenario, what are we looking at? I mean, before the road is resurfaced? 2 years?
It's a possibility. It all depends on what the federal government does with their funding. And we don't know that until annually, and we find out,
So that's a best case scenario.
yeah, 2 years probably, yes.
Does
Trying
that
to be
road,
honest with you.
does that road last that long? I mean, I don't, what do we, you're leaving me no, we've lived here for 20 years. 20 years last week. We built that house. Always wanted to stay there. I feel like we're being left with no choice. It looks like nobody cares about the area.
Well, you'll notice most
I'm
of the
just
roads
expressing,
in-
that's the way we feel.
And most of the roads in the area were resurfaced. The funding ran out before that road got finished. And that's one that got left hanging. And it's unfortunate.
Part of the problem too is that it's become a very busy road nowadays.
Yeah.
With the construction going on over here at Rollins and 83. A lot of people are using that as a bypass. They're going up to Monteville and coming down Orchard. I've noticed that a lot of times. Myself, I live on Rollins, so I see the traffic. And I know we've got a large plan to work on all the roads throughout the village, and there are some roads out there that have deep potholes and a lot of very
Nothing
bad
compared to Orchard.
areas. And we're trying to get them periodically and as the money comes up.
And the whole board does understand how serious that road is, and if funding does come available someplace, that will be our priority road. You're right, that's probably the most traveled road in town that needs the most repair. You go to south side of town, some roads that are much worse, but they are not as heavily traveled as Orchard is.
Mayor, I think that's why Dave said we've got a project that's projecting the whole village, because,
Yeah.
you know, we serve the whole village, and as much as we want to see Orchard because of the traffic, and we knew the traffic was going to get bad because of Walmart, and with all the other construction going on, people have learned to go through there, you know, go around. So,
When you look at the numbers, though, that we've checked, there really isn't that much more traffic. It's surprising.
exactly, but, you know, if you get over in the other part of town and go through Woodridge and, you know, Idlewild and some of those other
Yeah.
streets, I mean, you know, it's like we have two towns in one, and we've got to take care of all of it. And I know they would love to have a road that looks as good as Orchard, but yet we need to get Orchard done. You know, we're all talking about it.
And that's just the
I know it's on the
resurfacing.
schedule. I thought it was on the schedule for 2016, but I don't want to say,
Again, I don't have the plan in front of me, but, you know, it's a 15-year revolving capital plan. We paid for all the streets to be rated. So we had a rating plan done for the condition of the roads. That was also done along with the water main schedule, the sanitary sewer schedule, along with the storm sewer. That was all incorporated into available funding sources. We wanted to do it faster, but as we all know, the economy went down. We saw a significant decrease in the village's EAV, which impacted our property tax flow into the municipality. We also have our major commercial corridor is being torn up right now, which has impacted some redevelopment of properties. I think as we see the road project now hopefully coming to a timeline when we know it's going to finish, now we are beginning to see the interest in the corridor again, as witnessed by the Myers coming to the village and looking at redoing the Mallard Creek Shopping Center. We're hoping we've seen the bottom of our housing market. We have seen some upticks in the property value, but you're talking an uptick from a 40% decrease, almost a 50% decrease in property values within the community. So, you know, we're trying to balance all that without raising taxes, because that's the one thing that you know, the homeowners do not want to see. But we do have a plan. It is incorporated in the budget. I am reasonably confident that it is a funded plan. I think it's a well-thought-out plan that the finance director, Brian's put together, along with our, in consultation with our financial consultants. So, you know, the unfortunate thing, we're just not going to be able to get to all the roads when people need us to get to the roads, so.
Mayor, is there a timetable when we might find out if we get that extra funding through those grants that you were referring to?
It all depends every year. It depends how much money the federal government puts into the pot, and then that's how they can divvy it up.
We find out January, February sometime, or,
I thought it was more like March or,
okay?
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
The council of mayors meets, it's through the, it's part of a division through the Lake County Public Works Department of the county. Each year, that's our conduit to get access to federal funding. So each year, we have to get the roads first classified, which we've done that now with Monteville, and I believe Hook now, a portion of Hook's been classified. I mean, not Monteville, Orchard Lane. Those roads now will go in the queue, and then they just line up with the other roads in the county that qualify for the funding. And it all depends on, like the mayor said, how much funding is available, when it comes around, and how quickly the roads can be done. So it's another funding source we've reached out to, which is getting those roads classified. That's a big deal to get those things designated.
Any other comments or questions for the board tonight? Well, thank you for being here, and we do not have any executive session tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by trustee Smith, second by trustee Husk. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.